We will call this meeting to order. This is the Planning and Land Use Management Committee. Been joined by Councilmember Blumenfield, by Councilmember Harris-Dawson, Councilmember Price, Councilmember Englander. We will go over the consent items first. Item number 4, we will approve on consent and refer to the city attorney. Mr. Mejia?
Yes, that's the building one, Councilman, the proposed ordinance.
To amend portions of Chapter 9 of the Los Angeles Municipal Code.
Terry Kaufman, Mesilla City Attorney's Office. I just wanted to make a point that there are other technical corrections that are not in this ordinance, so they will have to come back at another time.
Okay, we'll do that and send that on consent.
So this one will be sent to the city attorney.
To the city attorney,
yes.
Yeah. With no objection. Item number 6, we will continue to November 21st. With no objection. Item 7, we will continue to November 21st with no objection. Item number 8, we will continue to November 21st with no objection. Item number 9, we will continue to November 7th with no objection. And so we will begin by going to item number 1, the report from the Director of Planning, Mr. Bertoni.
Good afternoon, Kevin Keller here today, Executive Officer, City Planning, to give the Director's report for the Plum Committee. Happy Halloween. Just 2 announcements. The department's been holding a number of Planning 101 sessions. We held some additional sessions recently as part of the USC Neighborhood Academic Initiative in the South LA and Boyle Heights campuses. These were presented in a bilingual format, covering topics such as what is planning, what is a general plan, a tutorial on zoning and our ZMIS online zoning resources, and helped provide an opportunity to answer general questions about what urban planning does and how people can find out more about the resources online that we provide. Also last week, just a second announcement that LA hosted the Urban Land Institute's annual fall meeting. This was about a conference with about 600 land use and urban planning professionals, and city planning staff participated in a number of conference panels, detailing discussions about Los Angeles and really focusing a lot on the transit expansion and opportunities for transit-oriented development in the city. So we're happy to report that was a successful event on the department side, and I'm here for any additional questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Seeing no questions, we will receive and file item number 1. We will now go to the multiple item comment card. This is an opportunity for individuals wishing to speak on more than one item to have 2 minutes to speak. Puppet.
So for the record, Jose Weezer's a bald fat fuck. Yes, now we get
Mr. Whatever your name is, you sign up with different names. Look, that is your first warning. We understand you have the right to come up here and speak and express yourself as you wish, as you're afforded by the First Amendment. But if you keep creating an environment in this meeting and saying things that had nothing to do with planning and land use and the items for which you signed up, we will ask you to leave. You have 1 warning. Thank you.
Fucking item, fucking number 2. Fucking communication from the fucking mayor relative to the fucking appointment of Miss Marina P. Diaz to the fucking North Valley fucking area fucking planning fucking commission. I'm on a fucking topic now. So I'm just going to warn Miss Diaz, you don't want to do this appointment because you're going to be sitting where they're sitting and you're going to have to listen to stupid fucking shit all year long. Number 3, fucking communication from the fucking mayor relative to the fucking appointment to the Central Area Planning Commission. Now, this is again you should not take this appointment because you got people there that have mental disabilities on the Central Area Planning Commission. They're really bad. One of them's named Chemerinsky, and the other one is this dumb fuck. So you don't want to be there. The financial disclosures are still pending. Now, you continued so much fucking shit, we really don't know what we're doing. That's why I bring a puppet. So we'll go back to the puppet. You know?
Yes, I do. Do we go to item number 10? Rafael Martinez, applicant, owner T.C. Green. So, North Mohawk Street, yes, the name of an Indian. So today for the Dodgers, we support the application for this fucking project, yes. Because what's going to happen is Astros are going to kick fucking ass tonight, yes, thank you.
Okay, so we will move on to item number 2. If you could call that to order, please, Mr. Mejia.
Yes, Councilman. Item 2 is a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Ms. Martina Diaz to the North Valley APC.
Thank you. Ms. Diaz here. Hi, welcome, Ms. Diaz, and thank you for your willingness to serve on this committee, on the North Valley Area Planning Commission. If you would like to share something with the committee and your interest in serving on this commission.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me this afternoon, and I want to let you know that I have lived in the city of Los Angeles for, specifically Sylmar, for the last 16 years, but I have lived here in the area of Southern California for the last 34 years. I went to college here in Rio Hondo College in Whittier. I went to college in Cal State LA, and then I also attended Cal State Northridge to complete my master's program. I'm an active member of the AYSO Region 174 in Granada Hills, where my boys play soccer. I commute to the San Gabriel Valley on our roads and highways to work. And I also have seen over the years with the increase of population, the increase of vehicles on the freeway, the increase of buildings in all of the communities within the city of LA, that I feel it's time for me to, as my boys have gotten older, it's time for me to be able to bring back to my community and to be able to, with the skill set that I have acquired over the years, to be able to bring back to my council member and the committee some of my observations and improvements that we can make in land use management. And I think with that, you probably, I can spend a few minutes going over my resume, but I think you've already have done that in the past, and unless you have some questions of me,
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Diaz? No, seeing none. Well, we'll move this item to full council and approve the appointment. Thank you so much again, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Without objections, so ordered. Item number 3.
Item 3, Councilman, this is a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Ms. Jennifer Barraza Mendoza to the Central Area Planning Commission.
Thank you. Ms. Mendoza here? Welcome. And this is for the Central Area Planning Commission. And anything you'd like to share with the committee?
Yeah, so I've been a lifelong resident in the city of Los Angeles my entire life. I lived in Hollywood since I was 8 years old and still live there now, which overlaps with the Central Area Planning Commission. And I think that we're in a very interesting time in the city where housing and homelessness are kind of at the forefront of everyone's mind. And this is my opportunity to kind of give back to my city. So I'm available if any of you have any questions from here on out. So, yeah.
Great. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move this item to full council, and congratulations. We look forward to working with you. Thank you. Without objection, item number 3 is approved, so ordered. Item number 5. Item number 5.
Yes, item 5, Councilman, this is a report from the Cultural Heritage Commission relative to the inclusion of the Hollywood Reporter building as a historic cultural monument.
Okay, staff here to briefly present on this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ken Bernstein from Department of City Planning and Office of Historic Resources. This is the historic cultural monument application for the Hollywood Reporter building. It was originally built in 1924 as a one-story masonry building. It was redesigned in 1936 and 37 for William R. Wilkerson, Jr. to house the offices and printing operations for the Hollywood Reporter, Hollywood's first daily entertainment trade newspaper. The building was redesigned by master architect Douglas Honnold. It was identified as eligible for historic designation, eligible for the California Register by the Community Redevelopment Agency as part of its Historic Resources Survey in Hollywood in 2009. The Cultural Heritage Commission found that the building met historic cultural monument criteria for its significance to the history of the community as the headquarters of Hollywood's first daily entertainment trade newspaper from 1931 to the early 1990s. And it also found that the building met a second cultural heritage ordinance criterion as it embodies the distinguishing characteristics of Hollywood Regency modern style architecture. And happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for staff at that time? No? Okay. We'll go to public comment. And Craig Bullock from CD 13, you wish to speak now or after the public comment? Okay, go right ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Craig Bullock. I'm with Council District 13, and I just wanted to let you know that the council member is supportive of the listing of this building on the Historic Cultural Monument list, and we look forward to being on the list with many other resources in the district. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. The applicants, we have 4 cards that have a total of 5 minutes. Jeffrey Bisiri, Eric Evavold, Celeste Hong, and Margo Gerber.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Basiri. I'm a member of the Art Deco Society and a practicing architect. I'm here to urge you to support the proposed nomination of the Hollywood Reporter building as a historic cultural monument. This property has been recognized by numerous surveys as deserving of historic designation at the highest level of significance. Its significance is not only cultural because of its association with the Hollywood Reporter, but also architectural because of its unique characteristics. The building's facade design is a rare and distinctive example of the Hollywood Regency modern style. This is the only recognized design style that gets its name from the work of art directors and set designers in the film industry. Designed by Douglas Honnold, the exterior facade is pure Hollywood Regency with its curved entry court contrasted with polished marble and brass fixtures. While in need of restoration, it is mostly intact. In addition, the original 1936 interiors remain almost completely intact despite the intervening years and changes in tenants. These are elegant spaces of wood paneling, carved columns, and original light fixtures. The middle building in the complex, which housed the Hollywood Reporter printing operation, still contains the structural characteristics that suggest this previous use. For these reasons, we believe this property is a prime candidate for adaptive reuse. I urge you to support this nomination of a rare and important piece of Hollywood history.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Evold with ADSLA. The aesthetics of the Art Deco era are roughly 1920 to 1949, very important to many people around the world. There is a fact, as the International Coalition of Art Deco Societies, that includes groups from Los Angeles to Shanghai. Los Angeles is known around the world for having some of the most excellent examples of Art Deco architecture still intact. We need to maintain what we have. We have the unique opportunity to be stewards of these buildings. In the 1920s and the 1930s, Los Angeles was covered with unique architecture, which included vernacular architecture, as well as restaurants shaped like hot dogs, ice cream cones, most famously the Brown Derby, storybook-like architecture such as the Witch's House, revival architecture taking inspiration from other areas in other countries, such as Spanish haciendas, apartment buildings, in Moroccan or French Norman-style design, or bungalow courts. Resembling English Tudor homes, are still intact. Chinese and Egyptian theaters were only a small portion of these whimsical designs that remain today. Designs that extended the fantasy of movies made in Los Angeles to the buildings where Angelinos once lived their lives. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Celeste Hong. I'm Vice President of the Art Deco Society of Los Angeles. I'm here to argue for adaptive reuse of the Hollywood Reporter building. These three buildings together comprise a space that is well suited for adaptive reuse. The original wood interior would provide an elegant backdrop to an old Hollywood-style eatery, not unlike the Cicada restaurant bar in the historic Oviatt building in downtown LA. Like the Hollywood Reporter, the Oviatt building was also originally a haberdashery with an exclusive clientele. A district of high-end restaurants housed in historic buildings is starting to emerge in this region. Among them are Gwen, located at 6600 Sunset Boulevard, and the soon-to-be opened renovated space at 6530 Sunset Boulevard, which is leased to a yet-to-be-named New York celebrity chef-owned eatery. In an article announcing this project, LAist ended the story by saying, in a neighborhood otherwise devoid of high-quality food destinations, there's a renaissance in Hollywood. Especially as large entertainment companies such as Netflix and Viacom take up residence in Hollywood, the area sorely needs more unique destination restaurants where the cuisine is the primary concern and dignified nightlife and business dinners and luncheons are promoted. This is what the people who live and work in this corner of Hollywood want, not another generic Quiznos in a mixed-use development. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Margo Gerber. I'm the president of the Art Deco Society of Los Angeles. I brought some pictures today of what the building originally looked like. Our city is known the world over for this period of architecture as well as for the film industry, and the building merges these two key concepts and should stand as an icon in our city of all times. What are we going to hashtag? A Vons that is a fake Art Deco building? In the era of Instagram, we need beautiful architecture to remain in our city. We lost the Brown Derby, but we still have Crossroads of the World, even though if you look on Instagram, mostly you're seeing pictures of the recreations on Disney properties. Los Angeles should embrace this and invite people to come and appreciate the real Art Deco architecture that we still have left in our city today. Thank you.
Thank you. So, is there anyone here opposed to the nomination? There isn't, right? Okay. We have a number of cards. I think we're so inclined to approve the nomination given the testimony and the reports. Just want to make that clear for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people who are remaining to speak as you come up. We'll call each person up, 3 people at a time. Each has 1 minute. Bill Higgins, Kevin Jordan, Adrian Scott Fine.
I'm Bill Higgins, and I write for the Hollywood Reporter, which supports its preservation. And I thought I would read from the statement that the son of the founder of the Hollywood Reporter made, that he called the building a stunning example of American Art Deco, and certainly one of the few surviving examples in Hollywood. It was commissioned by my late father, Billy Wilkerson, in 1938, who was the publisher of the THR. Originally, THR was Sunset House, the facade storefront that boasted elegant curved window displays, indoor marble, and brass fixtures handcrafted from England. For myself at the Reporter, I write mostly about the history of Hollywood, which I find is very hard to point out to people. It's either you tell them to go to Musso and Frank's or to the Hotel Roosevelt, and I think this would be a fine example of something to save. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin Jordan speaking on behalf of Hollywood Heritage. The Cultural Heritage Staff Report cites the inclusion of this building in the 2009 Chattel Survey of Historic Resources. It's been included in every survey done in Hollywood since 1978 and always evaluated at the highest levels of significance. It was also referred to as a historic resource under CEQA in the Crossroads Project EIR. Thus, numerous experts have come to the same conclusion over time that this is a significant structure. The building's facade, as we've heard, is very distinctive, unusual, the Hollywood Regency, modern style. And it's also been confirmed, as we've heard, that the Sunset House interiors are still intact. The Hollywood Reporter printing operation, which was in the middle building, also there are still structural characteristics that are still intact as well. So for this reason, our nomination is based on both the architectural significance of the structure as well as the cultural significance as the original home of the Hollywood Reporter. Separately, I also do walking tours for Hollywood. It's where we start our tour. And it would be nice to have something to speak about at the beginning of our tour. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Adrian Scott Fine from the Los Angeles Conservancy, and it was great to see you last night as we walked down Broadway and took a tour of 9 buildings that have gotten new lighting through our lighting program that we did for those beautiful buildings on Broadway. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for your support on that.
No, thank you for including us. Again, Adrian Scott Fine with the Los Angeles Conservancy. Good afternoon. I'm here on behalf of the Conservancy in full support of this nomination. It's an important building to us, our nearly 6,000 constituents, and folks throughout Hollywood and the city. So we encourage and appreciate your support of this nomination as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mickey Jackson, Susan Hunter, Pauline O'Connor.
Really quickly, Mickey Jackson just asked me to tell you that she's declining.
Okay.
So, my name is Susan Hunter, and I just want to say, being a neighbor to this building, I think it's amazing that we have such living history in Hollywood the way that we do. I can live in the same building that a reporter did who worked at the Hollywood Reporter. I can walk down the same sidewalk, and I can go to the Chinese Theater knowing that reporter could have walked that same path or gone to the Roosevelts. And I love that living history, and we cannot continue to lose the history that we have. We can't sell, come live the Hollywood experience when we're removing that experience. So I'm asking that you please nominate this building and please preserve this history and this beautiful space that we have. And in all honesty, we should be putting in an HPOZ in that area as well. Thank you.
Okay. Pauline O'Connor, Nathan Marsack, Nicole Howell, and Charles Fisher.
Good afternoon. I'm Pauline O'Connor, and I'm a journalist. I've written for The Hollywood Reporter and for the LA Weekly, so I have some personal connection to this building still existing. And also, I feel that in an age where journalism is under attack, we should keep our ties to it intact. And I'd also like to speak as a transplant from New York to Los Angeles. People don't come to places for their new sky rises. They're attracted by history, and I think that it would be a mistake for Hollywood to obliterate its history. Thank you.
Greetings, Nathan Marsack. Thank you for having us and seeing me. I'm an architectural historian, specifically of Victorian Los Angeles, much of which we lost all of in the 1960s in the name of progress. Now we see so much of interbellum LA being lost to these ideas. And as an architectural historian, I mean, the social and cultural importance of this building is pretty inarguable, but I can say with some, if not expertise, then authority, that it is first-rate, very rare, and very intact, and would be a magnificent part of our shared collective memory. We're coming up on 2018, which is, of course, the 50th anniversary of the demolition of the extremely iconic Richfield building. We should keep that in mind as we do everything in our power to save great Art Deco LA, one of the styles that really put us on the map. Thank you again.
Do I just start? Hello, my name is Nicole Howell. Not only am I a new board member on the Art Deco Society of Los Angeles and a member of many of the historic organizations in LA, I also am a vintage clothing shop owner on Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset. And I drove by this building for the first time not too long ago, and it just blew my mind how amazing it was driving by. I was jaw-dropping how beautiful it is. Having my vintage shop and being a popular location for people from all over the world, but mostly our own community of vintage-loving people, I know very well how important it is to our vast community. With Instagram and social media, it's only growing, the number of people who are appreciating this type of building, and it's very important that we save this. Tourists every day are looking for any remains. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Charlie Fisher, 140 South Avenue 57. I was actually asked by the Art Deco Society to write this nomination, which I did. And in the process of research, I just want to, for the record, mention two other aspects that are very significant. This building is a significant work of the architect Douglas Honnold, who is well known for his monuments, starting with the Gibbons Del Rio estate and other buildings that he did over the years. And of course, the partnership with John Rex and Honnold and Rex with the 50s restaurants later on. Also, the original founder and longtime publisher of the Hollywood Reporter, Billy Wilkerson, is significant in his own right. These two aspects, these two people are very, very significant as far as the history of the building, the design of the building, and the history of Hollywood in general. Thank you.
Thank you. Final speaker, Stephen Loughman.
Hello. This building, my name is Stephen Loughman. This building speaks to the history of Los Angeles so very much, and I wanted to thank you for supporting the designation. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good. Any questions or comments on this? No? It's great to see that this was nominated. It's a great piece of history, and thank you all for coming out and testifying today. And it's interesting. Usually at this point there's two sides, but it was all one side, so that's a good thing. So we'll move to approve the nomination. Any objections to that? See none, so ordered. Thank you. Congratulations. This will go to full council, and don't know when the date is. Do you know, does that have a time certain, clerk, or they still need to set it whenever that comes up? We don't have that yet, right? Okay, that will be scheduled by the Council President's office. Okay. Item number 10. Can you call that to order, please?
Sure. Item 10, Councilman, this is an appeal filed by Wendy O'Malley and Aaron O'Malley. It relates to a Board of Building and Safety Commissioner's approval to export 2,571 cubic yards of earth from the property located at 1141 North Mohawk Street in Echo Park in CD13.
Okay, can staff give a brief overview of this, please?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, council members. Cora Johnson, Board Secretary. The board held a public hearing on October 3rd to approve the haul route and to accept the categorical exemption for the project.
Okay. We have the appellant, Jamie Hall.
Good afternoon. My name is Jamie Hall. I'm an attorney with Channel Law Group. I'm a land use and environmental attorney. The good news is that we are going to be meeting with the developer on Thursday. The basis for this appeal is primarily the fact that next door there is a family that has a child with an autoimmune disorder, and they are very concerned about some of the environmental issues associated with the haul route activity, specifically dust and other air particulates. The board did express a desire for the developer to work with the neighbor who showed up and spoke at the hearing. So we are meeting with the developer on Thursday at 10:30, and we have agreed to some of the broad strokes of what some additional conditions of approval could be. They have not been finalized at this point, but those in very broad strokes are, one, a dust fence that would be put along the property line. You might think about when the purple line expansion, you'll notice that there's those walls next to where they're digging, and that's to prevent dust and other air particulates from getting over to where residents are at. So something on a smaller scale could be put up, and the developer's actually already ordered that, and it's on its way to the project site. The other issue, a condition requiring that the dirt be wetted down at the end of the day to prevent the dust from coming up. Another issue is privacy. This is an interesting situation because it's a 10-unit apartment complex that's actually replacing a a craftsman-style home that was built in 1903. I don't think most of the residents realized when they moved in there that their single-family homes were actually zoned for this type of land use. So I know Councilman O'Farrell's already taken a look at addressing this, but that's sort of, so the issue here is, could there be some landscaping that would be put along the property line that would preserve some of the privacy that the residents had previously enjoyed? And the developer has agreed in theory to some additional, to an additional condition of approval for landscaping along the property line. And then the final issue is because my client has a child with an autoimmune disorder, which is very severe, that can lead to permanent brain damage, that we're in discussions with the developer to see if maybe there could be some additional retrofitting of the 1903 home that my client lives in, which is right next door, to prevent dust from coming in. A lot of the older homes have windows that have small cracks, and there's molding and other air filters that can be installed that would mitigate those impacts. So what we would ask you to do, we understand that there's timing issues here, so we would ask for you not to take any action on this and just refer this to the City Council. And by the time that hearing is scheduled for early next week, we will have worked with Councilman O'Farrell's office to have 3 or 4 specific conditions of approval that could be added to the permit, and then we could withdraw the appeal. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, property owner Taylor Green.
Hi. I guess I've never done anything like this before, so this is uncomfortable for me, I guess. But
doing great.
Everything he said is true. The reason there is a Thursday meeting is because I've reached out, again and again to these neighbors, to say if there's anything I can do, to be helpful. I understand that construction is, inconvenient for neighborhoods. We always try to be like the best we possibly can for the neighbors, and so I guess it's kind of been like, it's been a little bit tough to be, feeling like they're trying to compel me in some sort of legal sense to do things that I'd be more than happy to do on my own. I mean, I am going to meet with them on Thursday, whether there's a reason to or not, just because I want to be a good neighbor. So, when we won, or whatever you call it, last time the council approved me to continue with the project, I walked right up to the neighbor and said, hey, what can I do? What would you like me to do? And so they've never gotten back to me with anything. This is the first really I'm hearing of it. It was yesterday when I've been continuing to reach out. So I mean, I don't want to be in this process. Obviously, I want to just start with the project, and I want to be totally accommodating to the neighbors within reason. So I mean, I know the attorney sort of said to me that, well, I want to still be in this appeal process so that you have to do what we ask you to do, but I want to be accommodating. So I mean, I think hopefully on Thursday we work everything out, but I have no interest in everything. I'm already working on the things that they want to do, and I haven't done this for any of the other neighbors, but if they asked, I'd be happy to do that too. So we always try to be good to the neighbors. So I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know. I guess I just want to be approved and start building. That's sort of the ideal, and also be a good neighbor. I don't know whatever else I'm supposed to say.
Okay, thank you. CD13, do you wish to testify on this item? We didn't have a card for you. No? Okay. Well, can I ask you a question? Yeah, Craig Bullock. There was a suggestion as part of the testimony that there have been some discussions that CD 13 has been mediating as a possible mitigation solution to this. If we move this item, do you think there'd be a resolution, or do you think, I mean, do you think there'll be a resolution before it gets to council? That was a suggestion by the appellant.
Yes, I do think there can be a resolution prior to council.
You think they will?
Yes.
Because we have some options here. We could send this forward to council with no recommendation in hopes that there is a resolution, or we could deny the appeal, and still, you could still have the discussions and make a motion in council depending on whether or not the appeal has been filed, if there is a resolution.
Right, if we could send it to council without a recommendation, that would be fine.
Okay, and so, okay, we'll do that. And we're hoping that the two parties could get together and find some resolution, some mitigation to this, and we'll take action in council accordingly as to how depending on how the conversations went. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And someone has a ring gap here, huh? Yeah. No, from there. Someone's at your front door.
Oh, I don't think he has it.
Trick-or-treating early. So what we'll do is we'll move this item without recommendation to full council, and any objection to that? Seeing none, so ordered. Thank you. Okay, that leaves us with general public comment. We have one card. Puppet.
So as I was seeing when I started, just simply refer to somebody as a balding fat fuck, that's all. It's no big deal. The fact that somebody's a balding fat fuck affects decisions. Decisions can be made improperly. If somebody's balding as a fat fuck as opposed to somebody healthy. And I don't think a lot of these council people are very healthy. They make stupid fucking decisions. For example, you took a couple of items without the public comment. The city attorney allowed you to violate the Ralph M. Brown Act. So, on behalf of Mr. Herman, who could not be here, 42 U.S.C. 1983, fuck you, and fuck the Plum. And then finally, because you're such assholes, go Astros, they'll beat the fucking Dodgers in 6 games. Thank you.
Mr. Mejia, any other items on this agenda today? Mr. Mejia, any other items on this agenda today?
Mr. Chair, I confirm there's no other items.
Thank you very much, City Clerk. Mr. Mejia, you're fired.
Okay.
Take that off the record. Take that off the record. Okay, thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Happy Halloween.
Got fired because of you.
Simple. Good. He's going to go work for the clerk's office.